Alright, sixth graders, today we're going to be using a number line to graph inequalities and label inequalities from a graph. So I kind of wanted to give you a trick. When we have the variable first, remember the variable is just the letter. When variable is first, we can change the inequality sign into an arrow. Alright, so that is important to know. We also need to know when to use an open circle. So open circle is used with less than or greater than symbols. And a closed circle is used with less than or equal to, and it's also used with greater than or equal to, because it's showing that the variable could also be what we are putting that circle on. So when we graph inequalities, you will have something like x is greater than -2. So then you will be given a line. And on this, you have to determine where -2 is. So 0, -1, -2. And usually the graph will be labeled for you, especially like for today's homework. Now, we're going to use an open circle, and we're going to use it right where the -2 is. So I'm going to put the open circle here. And it has my x listed first, so I'm going to turn this greater than sign into an arrow. So it's pointing to the right. So x has to be somewhere along here, and we draw an arrow because it could be anything greater than this -2. Okay, so you might have x is less than or equal to 5. Okay, well again, we have this beautiful number line here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, this is a closed circle. So I would draw a circle around 5, but then I would fill it in because it could also, x could also be equal to 5, right? And then I'm going to use that less than or equal to sign here, and I'm going to make it into an arrow. So if it's less than something, it is going to the left. If it's greater than something, it's going to the right. But do you see how that sign gives us an arrow? Remember, we have to be sure our variable is listed first for that to work properly. Alright, I want you to try a couple on your own now. How about x is less than 6 and x is greater than or equal to 1. Alright, so we'll make a nice little thing for you here. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. So open or close circle here. Open circle, and it's going to go at the 6. Now I'm going to turn that less than sign into an arrow, so it's going left. Can be anything to the left of 6, and on and on and on, because this line goes on and on and on, right? Okay, try this one now. So maybe 0, 1, 2, 3. All right, open or close circle at the 1. Closed because it could also be equal to it. And then we're going to turn that into an arrow. So it's going to the right because x is greater than or equal to. So it can be anything, including the 1, and to the right of that. Okay? Don't get too confused when you see the negative numbers. You're just going to plot that, either open circle or closed circle, and then make your arrow. Now, you will also have to read a graph, okay? So maybe on your graph, you have something that looks like this. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Usually the line is right over, but since I'm using the same color for both, I do lift mine up a little bit. Sorry, I just want you to see that line, right? And if I'm going this way, guys, what do you think? Well, we're going to use X, right? And then we're going to change that into our symbol. So what does that look like? That looks like our less than symbol. And then we're going to include that number. Now, I have to determine if it could be equal to that. Well, if it's open, it means it is not equal to that, but it could be anything less than that. So there we have it, right? Is that fair enough? Let's try negative 18, negative 17, negative 16. See, it doesn't really matter what the numbers are. Negative 15, negative 14, negative 12, and on and on. Now, let's have a closed circle at negative 16 and a line going to the right. So we call it X, right? We use this symbol. It's greater than because it's going to the right. And we include that number. But now we need to decide, could it also be equal to? Well, yes, because it is close. So I'm going to add that. Okay? Is that fair enough? So hopefully that makes sense. You want to try maybe 2 more of the drawings. Let's do we'll do an open at negative 2 and to the right. And then let's also do some of your things will skip numbers, like might count every other one. So this is really, these lines are really going up by 9, you see that? But it's only labeling every other one, so don't get too tricked by that. and then it might have, let's say, a closed circle here, and then to the right. I'm sorry, to the left. Okay. Now look, we're going to call it x, right? We're going to use that symbol, and we're going to label the number -2. Now, it cannot be equal to because it's open, so that's how it is. Then we're going to call it x. Going to use that symbol. We're going to figure out what that number is. What's between 0 and 18? 9. And we know that it could also be equal to because it's closed, so we're going to add that in as well. Okay? So in your slides today, you might have to do a less than or equal to, so you might have to put in both symbols, like it might look like this, less than, equal to, or equal to. Since I don't know that if there is a way, there probably is a way if you are really tech savvy and can find those math symbols in there. So either way will work, okay? But remember to include an equal sign or something, to denote that it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, okay? I know it's a little tricky doing it all digitally. All right, have a fantabulous day.